Hey guys, it's Lacey from the Content Direction Agency again, and this is your content debrief 15 minutes of actionable information you can use to improve your content marketing strategy. And I almost missed my own start time just now because I was reading an article in the New Yorker about the annual Copy Editors Association and the AP announcing new style guides. Which is only interesting to word nerds like myself. So if you're here watching with us live, please give me a like or a comment to say hello. I do like funny GIFs, so if you want to put a funny GIF in the comments, that's always appreciated. And if you're watching in the replay, feel free to give me a like or a comment as well so I know that you're here and that you came by. This week, we are discussing email newsletters because I've been getting some comments and questions from people about email newsletters and whether or not you need one, how often should you send them. These seem to be kind of perennial questions that we get all the time. And so it seemed like a good opportunity to do another video and another blog post on email newsletters and some of the best practices, but also just how to think about it. Like, what does your email newsletter actually need to do for your business? And so if you're watching the video, please pop an answer to this question in the comments. Let me know, do you have a newsletter for your business, first of all? How often do you send it, and what do you send? I'm just really curious kind of how that breaks down. So if you could leave that in the comments for me, I would be really interested to see the answers. So the question that sort of sparked this and inspired this topic this week was a comment, a question I saw in a business group I belong to, where this woman put up a poll and was asking, if you've subscribed to an email newsletter and you like the person and do want to hear from them, how often do you want to receive emails from them? And the options, I think, were like once a week, every other week, once a month, or once a quarter. I was like, once a quarter? Are you kidding me? Like, I would forget my name. So rather than, be like a normal person and answer the poll, I had to jump in with some advice. And, one thing she said that made me want to jump in with some advice was saying that she was providing insights and resources in her emails. There's links to connect with her, reminders about her services, but mostly they're useful information, right? And she said, most importantly, I do notice a return on my time investment. But then she said, I don't want to annoy people. I'd rather create something of value that they are excited to receive and return to when they need to reference a particular subject. So she was essentially worried about her open rate. Like, if my entire list isn't opening my emails every week when I send them out, does that mean I'm being annoying, right? Are they not opening because I'm annoying to them? And my answer to that question is no, you're not being annoying. So to me, in my opinion, email newsletters are what we call top of mind marketing, right? So they help keep your business and your brand top of mind for a potential customer so that when they're ready to buy, your name comes to their mind first. So then if we think of them that way, there's absolutely no harm in the fact that people dip in and out, right? If they open it one week and not the next week, that's okay because you're still showing up. Even if they only delete your email, they're still seeing your name or your business name in their email inbox. And so it's actually still achieving its goal of keeping you top of mind for that topic. And when they do decide to dip in and read, that's just like a bonus, right? So you kind of have to think of email newsletters in that way. Now, I want to make a caveat here that I'm talking about your regular email newsletter, not sales emails. So sales emails are kind of a different bag, which we can talk about on a different video. But right now, we're just talking about those weekly or every other week emails that you send just to keep you and your business top of mind for your audience, okay? Because here's the deal. What everybody wants to know is, am I being annoying if I'm sending an email every week or even every day? And the answer is you're not being annoying if you're providing value. The reason we get upset with too much email and like Old Navy Gap, I'm looking at you, is because most of the time it's not actually that we're upset that we're getting too many emails. It's that the emails we're getting in that volume don't have any value. So the easy way to fix this problem is to make sure that whatever you're sending it as frequently as you can produce quality content. I'm going to say that again because it's really important. So send your emails as often as you can produce quality content, as often as you can produce value. So if you can provide awesome value that people are dying to hear every single day, I'm thinking about like Seth Godin. Like I don't even know if he has an email list, but he blogs every single day. So I think I just blipped there for a second. So he blogs every single day. And if he sends out an email every single day, people want to hear it because he's Seth Godin, right? So they want to see and hear from him every day. If he can provide value every day, that's fine. He can send an email every day. If you can't, if you're struggling with what to say in an everyday email, don't do that. Send it every week. If you're struggling with what to say every week, send it every other week. My rule of thumb on frequency is generally for most businesses between once a week and once a month is where you want to be on email frequency. Any more than once a week, you're unless you have a team behind you to produce amazing emails every day, or you're Seth Godin, you're running that risk of not providing value. Less than once a month and people are going to forget about you. So that's kind of my rule of thumb for that. So then the next question becomes, what kind of value will you choose to provide? And so in this week's email, it is an email too, this week's blog post, which I'm going to pop a link to in the comments here, I'm trying to discuss how the different types of value you might choose to use your email newsletter to provide. And so I'm hoping it'll kind of be inspirational for you, like maybe, oh, I could do that. I never thought of that. And also kind of let you audit your own email a little bit and say, like, am I doing as much as I could? Am I providing as much value as I could be in my emails, regardless of how frequently you send them? So the first topic, I'm going to go through these really quickly. So if you want to hear about these more detail, be sure and click the link and read about it in the blog post. But the first type is your product and or discount and or sale email. Now these are kind of in a world unto themselves, but the reason I include them in this list is because so many product-based businesses base their entire email strategy on this type of email, which would be like introducing a new product, reminding people of a sale, giving people a discount, that kind of thing. Think your Old Navies, your Gaps, etc. Those are the kinds of emails they tend to send. They really fall into that sales email category, but a lot of product-based businesses treat that as their newsletter. It's not my favorite strategy. I would rather pair that with something else, but it must work, or people like the Gap and Old Navy wouldn't do it, right? The second kind that's the most popular, or the most common, I guess, is the blog post email. So for a lot of businesses, what they do is they send out an email every week, mine included, that says, here's my latest blog post. And there's two ways to do this, right? You can either link to the blog post, takes people out of the email so they read it on your website, or you post the entire text of the blog post in your email. And in the blog post this week, I do discuss a little bit the pros and cons of each one, but basically there's no right or wrong way to do it. It sort of depends on what you're trying to achieve there. Okay, so then the next type I have is the subscriber exclusive. So what I mean by that is this is exclusive content that only your subscribers get. So it's not posted anywhere else. They can't find it on the blog. Nobody, could just stumble onto your website and find this information. It might just be like a personal letter from you, or it could actually be like additional content, whatever you produce, how-to posts, videos, whatever, that kind of thing. The next kind is the inspirational email. I see this a lot with life coaches and other kinds of lifestyle businesses. They include some kind of inspirational element in their email. So it might be a quote, it might be a video, a meditation, some kind of challenge, or some other inspirational thing. So it could be like, hey, here's your inspirational quote of the week. Get out and, do something amazing, right? That's your inspirational email. And that's usually separate from whatever's on their blog post, right? Their blog post may be about a topic, and the inspirational email is just that nugget of awesome inspiration. Okay, the next type is like a challenge or course email. And sometimes these are used as a lead magnet, or sometimes even a paid product. But it's basically like you're teaching something exclusively through the email. The example of this that comes to mind for me is the Whole30 people. It's actually a paid product, but I feel like it still kind of applies here. They have a sequence where if you're going to do the Whole30 diet, you can subscribe to this email sequence and it'll send you an email every single day of your 30 days with tips and tricks and like what's happening in your body and all that kind of stuff. So that would be kind of like a challenge or a teaching course email. And you could also do that with a newsletter, right? So you could have a challenge every week or a little tidbit of something you're teaching every week. So you could use that as a newsletter as well. The next type is the roundup email. So if you have a business or a type of business that frequently has real life news to share in a newsletter, like this might be like events you're going to be at, press mentions, offers, promotions you're making, places you're going to appear or have appeared, like I was on this podcast, I'm going to be speaking at this conference, that kind of thing. A roundup email might be a good fit for you. The other way that you can do a roundup email is if you are very content heavy. So if you post lots of blog posts or lots of different types of content, like you do 2 blog posts, a video, and a podcast episode every week, you could do a roundup email that links to all of the various content you've produced, or a curated selection, like here's the best content from this week. Up to you. But that's kind of what a roundup email is. It has a lot of different links to different things. And sometimes it has different sections as well. The next one's what I call the interesting tidbit email. So this is when you are curating tidbits from other places. So I'm thinking of like Yes and Yes does a weekend reads email. Actually, I don't know if it's email. It's definitely a blog post, but she links to different interesting things she's read and seen around the web during the week. So I call that the interesting tidbits, but it's basically a curated list of links to other people's content. It's a good way to build a network because you can tell people that you're linking to, say, hey, I linked to you in my email. And it's also valuable to your readers because they don't have to go through and curate for themselves, right? They can just trust you. Another one would be the testimonial type of newsletter. So some types of businesses lend themselves really well to testimonials and case studies, right? So like a health and wellness coach or a weight loss coach might just send out their newsletter every week with a testimonial or a case study or a side-by-side before and after showing the results some of their clients have gotten. If you've got enough testimonials and case studies to do that, that can be a very effective newsletter for certain types of businesses. And really, you know, if you're a person who's into weight loss or looking to lose weight or get healthy or whatever it is, that can be valuable as a reader as well because it's kind of a hybrid. It's like an inspirational thing as well as a testimonial serving your business. So that actually segues really well because the last one I have here is the combination strategy. So as I was listing these out, you might have noticed that you could easily and creatively combine any of these, you know, different styles into kind of a hybrid style of newsletter. So I would call my weekly newsletter a hybrid of the blog post and the subscriber exclusive because I often write a personal note that's whatever I'm thinking about or goes into a little more depth or talks about the why behind my blog post that week. And then I link to the blog post. So that's kind of a hybrid style for me. Tanya Geisler does a hybrid style of, she links to her blog post. It's a roundup, but it's kind of a hybrid because she does a roundup, but she also includes like a link to her blog post, where she's been, an inspirational moment, and some subscriber exclusive content as well. So she's doing a whole lot in one email, but she's combining a bunch of different styles into one. I mean, I guess we would call it a roundup style email, but it's combining a bunch of different elements. So to wrap up here, whatever you choose to use to provide value to your readers, you have to remember that the tenets of good email marketing still apply. So you're trying to stick to at least like one main subject per email, unless you're doing that roundup style. It's sort of an outlier. But if you're doing any of the other styles, you want to stick to one topic. You want to have a call to action, and you want to know what your goal is for email marketing. Like I beat this all the time, but you know, I must sound like a broken record, but you have to know your why behind your content strategy in order to be able to get any good out of it. If you don't know what you want out of it, how are you going to know if you're getting it or not, right? So I came in right under the 15-minute mark. I'm so proud of myself. But there's a lot more detail about this topic in the blog post, which the little, actually, can you see it? There's the whole thing. The link there in the video or in the comments on Facebook. If you have enjoyed this video, I would totally appreciate a like or a comment to let me know. And if you really enjoyed it and thought it was useful, a share is the best way to show me that you enjoyed it and thought it was useful, because that helps more people see it. If you would like some help with your email strategy, if you'd like to brainstorm which value style will be best for your business and your customers, I am always here to help. So you can go to lacyboggs.com/undercover to find out how we work and to check us out. And you just fill out my little application form there and get on a phone call with me. And I would be happy to strategize with you about which of these styles would be the most beneficial for your business. So next week, I will be back here at this same time, same bat channel. And next week, I'm going to be sharing a testimonial, a case study from one business that I worked with, in which we used and leveraged the value of their email newsletter and turned it into serious dollar bills for their company. And I will talk about how and why that worked so well for them next week. So be sure and stay tuned. It'll be Tuesday at noon Mountain Time. That's 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you next week. Bye.